And welcome to thank you so much for those of you who've been watching the last couple of interviews. I've been looking forward to this interview. Kabisa. This is my friend and brother, Thimba. Eshoke. Known this guy. This is one of my, is it English to say oldest friends?
One of them? It's been like 20 years now. Remember, since 20 years that I went for that camp.
Yeah.
Which is when I met all of you.
That's 20 years
20
ago.
years, man. 20 years! Yo! That's weird, huh? You get me that old, 20 years.
No, we're not old. You can be like 25
and you met 20. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Forever young.
20 years, man. And I feel like I was kind of an adult then. You know what I'm saying? Like, just they're adulting, you know, youth, just they're having to be like, to small dads.
Yeah. I still, I don't know, I'm still young.
I know, man. Yeah. It's interesting because it's like, I know guys who are my age.
Yeah.
And I look at them and I'm like, why do you look so old? You know what I'm saying? Like the homie looks like a dad. Like dad. You know what I'm saying? So me, I am over here I don't know, maybe I'm the gay denial. I mean, those guys, you know those guys who are in the club with my chains. The t-shirt is open with my chains. Yeah? And with those guys, those guys, whose dad is that? Yeah? Kwa majina, naitwa Thimba.
Yeah.
I feel like when you get older, you're supposed to drop the Yeshoke. You know what I'm saying? Like the one that's like after, now you're like your own man.
You're
so now you're Thimba.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Was born in Nairobi, actually Nairobi Hospital. Grew up in Nairobi, specifically in Gumo. So Gumo Mazi. Grew up in the hood.
Gumo Mafia.
Gumo Mafia. So I mean, I spent a little bit of time. I went to school in the United States.
First of all, which high school did you go to?
I went to St. Mary's. St. Mary's.
St. Mary's is
I mean, you can obviously tell. I'm sure even the people who are watching this are just like, that guy is so cool. I feel like he went to Saints. Yeah.
Party.
This guy is a silver patch. He's a rough guy. He just like a guy for stones. Yeah, and then the Tupamawe.
Hey.
Anyway, yeah, man. So went to high school I went to primary school in Consolata, high school in St. Mary's. Then I went to college in America, Eastern University, which is a Christian college. I went there to study political science and theology, which was a double major. But sikumaliza.
It dropped out.
Yep. I'm one of those. I hope, you know what, I really hope, when I read the stories, but you know those guys, the only difference is, kina Bill Gates na kina Mark Zuckerberg, they are dropping out of Harvard. Drop yani tu vile nilikosa do maze.
Life
my times maze.
Life. You got it, you make it. You've made it.
Yeah. There's no doubt, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ is in this boat.
Yeah.
My friend.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
And for that reason, I will make it.
Yeah.
Amen?
Amen. So, you were born, you got siblings, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 2 older sisters. Very amazing. Actually, every single time I meet someone who knows my sisters, it's always such a positive experience. Which means that my sisters obviously give them very good vibes and good, because they're always so excited to meet the brother, And so my sisters are amazing. It's just such an amazing experience to grow up with siblings. I know people who hate their siblings.
Yeah.
And I find that very weird. Because throughout my life, my sisters have been nothing but amazing. Like, in my mind, they're just like, they're almost like outwardly, like like such amazing people. You
Yeah.
know? Such amazing human beings. Like fundamentally, you know how I complain about humans. They're that good crop of humanity. You know.
Yeah.
So my elder sister is a makeup artist. The best makeup artist in Eastern Central Africa.
Hey, no.
yes. She's slowly expanding but for right now, Eastern Central Africa.
Okay.
And then as she continues to expand her tentacles, it will be, you know, in Pan Africa, Africa,
and then the world.
So she's an amazing artist. She's a mom of 2 kids, 2 very amazing, young, awesome kids. Then my other sister, Wamboy, who has been my lifetime stylist, is currently also a stylist by career. And she's currently the best stylist in Eastern Central Africa and beyond. Yeah, so those are my siblings, and growing up with them was just like my sisters. I mean, there's nothing. For me, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for them.
Yeah.
Literally. And then the thing is that we're so, like, the thing that I love most about my sisters, my siblings, is that we go through life together. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the fact that all hell could break loose, right? But I know that my sisters will always and forever have my back. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's like team. We're a team. You know what I'm saying? Like team effort. So, man, my folks, man.
I'm not sure that would make it.
These guys. The thing that again, I guess it's what every parent does. But my folks would. It's amazing with my family that it's not just these guys have literally done everything for me, and that's just amazing, and you think about like that level of love, like they would do anything for me,
and they already have,
it's not, that they would, they like already have, do you get what I'm saying, like they've already done everything. I mean, I still remember a time there was a semester that I wasn't able to find school fees, and my sister sold her car. Do you get what I'm saying? Like those are things that you know what I'm saying? Like that's just love. Okay.
That's awesome, man. So when you went to the States, went to school rather, to college, Amero, and so you did finance and theology. You studied finance and theology.
Political science.
Political science and theology. So how was that, and why did you go into that? Can you remember what the thinking behind?
Yes. Initially, when I went to college, I was going to go study finance, and the reason why I decided finance was for no reason other than the fact that it sounded like something that made money.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was like, finance, whatever. And I remember when I was in college, this was probably my second year, first semester, I did this class called International Politics. And I remember when I did that class, like I really enjoyed everything. And then I signed up for Model United Nations. And when I went for MUN, I was so intrigued by everything around this kind of fake political process.
Right.
I remember. It's not real. I mean, it's model. It's a model, but it's. And I remember just coming back from that trip and just being like, I want to do this. I want to be a political scientist, And for me, it was because that experience came from political science. I was like, this must be the thing. But then on top of that is just, that's the one part. But for me, I've always, not always, but like since I became a believer in 1997, I've always been very intrigued by the Bible.
Yeah.
So initially when I went, I was going to go do a double major in finance and biblical studies. But then what was more interesting for me, and the reason why I switched to theology, was I really wanted to understand the whole idea around kind of like this study of God through different religions. And I thought that was kind of fascinating, and to be able to kind of understand, why do I believe what I believe? So, you know, and so those are the two things. So those are I realized those are the only two things that really intrigue me is politics and Jesus. So it seemed like an interesting thing to study at the time.
And you were young and foolish.
Yeah. So I mean, it worked out, and I feel like I was a good student when I cared. You know, when I cared to learn, I could learn. But when I didn't care, I really did not care.
The reverse is also true.
Very true.
The opposite.
Brutally true. Hey, my guy, there's a few semesters there.
Yeah.
You know what though? There's one thing though. If anyone who's watching this who's in school right now, one of the things, in as much as I was never able to finish, one of the things that, you know, there's very few things that I look back on and I say that I regret. And one of the things that I do genuinely regret is not taking school, it's not about school. Forget about the idea of school. School is the institution. I did not take learning seriously enough.
Why do you say that? That's such a... What do you mean learning? You're in school?
So, in school. So meaning that so for me, it was all about, you know, school is a structure that, you know, if you just, you know, you can basically fake your way through it, So meaning that don't attend classes, whatever, go and do whatever you want, and then at the end, you know, study hard enough so that you can pass. That's school. But learning is a different thing. Learning is learning. You know, learning is from everywhere. Learning is, because the thing about the whole college environment is that it's unlike any other, and I think you can attest to this, it's like anything else in the world. You know, it's not like high school, and it's not like real life.
It's like, it's a university.
It's a university, exactly, you know what I'm saying? And so, I feel like to go to university with a spirit of learning, meaning that you learn from everything, right? You learn from your experiences, you learn from stuff. And the one thing for me that I know that I will pass on to my kids is that even in as much as you do not want to, whatever, you're going through some tough times, make sure you attend every class.
Got you.
Yeah? Go there and just learn. Learn some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Forget about learning for exams. Go there and learn some stuff. Go to class. Just go to class, sit in there and just go with the spirit of being able to open yourself up to learning. And so I feel like that's the one thing that I you know, I hope, you know, I would have hoped someone told me then, you know what I'm saying? Like in terms of, you know, to understand the bigger picture, because you're not going to go through another college experience.
Especially that age bracket.
Yes. It's not going to happen.
The best.
It's amazing. It's amazing. The fun times is so much, but then the problem is that you get caught up with the fun times and you forget that this is the time when you need to be absorbing and learning. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn everything. Travel, go, you know, go do things that allow you to learn.
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I like that.
That's my advice to you. If you're in college right now, do not underestimate that experience. Go there to learn. Forget about school. Learn. Those are your learning. You learn forever. You'll always be learning. But on those years, you literally have... Can you imagine? It's like you're given a timeout so that you can learn. You know what I'm saying? You're in that kakas, whatever. High school is like... high school, you're there dealing with homework. Does she love me? In college, it's like... babes, fun times.
Exactly.
You become time rich. Exactly. You have so much time.
So much time.
Actually, that's true, because in high school you don't have time.
High school, your homework.
It's your parents have your time. All your time belongs to your parents. In college, you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Whenever you want.
It's yours.
Oh, I miss those dudes. And we think that you guys are there to stressed about exams during college.
And no money.
No money.
It's the best times. Best times. I totally agree with that. Like, go to class, learn how to write a paper, because writing is important. You know, like
there's no time where writing has stopped being important.
Yeah.
Forget about all the other stuff, man. Like, yeah, you need to know how to write.
Yeah. Learn how to study. Yeah. Like, write a bibliography. I mean,
put together some presentations.
Put together. Yeah.
How to articulate your ideas. How to research.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
How.
These are all skills that you need in the real life.
Yeah, for real. Forget maybe cosine and all those things. Anyway.
And in the midst of all that, the thing that's so interesting is that you can still have fun.
Yeah. That's the thing, because you've got so much time. Time and energy, so you can actually hang all night and go to class in the morning and somehow
and still be okay. Yeah, you still be like functioning.
Yeah.
I know those nights, those days where it's like you literally got 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey,
and
you
you're
guys
still
now.
Okay.
I can't even do even if it's day plans. 2 daytime plans in a row is too much.
It's all good. So college, you came back. How was that like? Not being able to afford to finish your school. How was it like then? I'm sure it's different perspective, different eyes right now.
Yeah.
But what was it like then?
It was terrible, to be honest. I mean, it actually did feel somewhat like you failed. That's what it felt like. But for me, the thing that kind of, and I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if it's to credit my parents or to credit, I don't know where that thinking came from, but from a very young age, I have never doubted that I would be successful.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, that's something that I fundamentally don't doubt. And I can't tell you why.
And define success.
Exactly. So success in the sense that I will be, by success, in fact, the success that I'm talking about is the success that everyone else defines as success, right? It's not necessarily my definition for success. My definition for success is to be able to have a healthy relationship with my family and the people around me, and to have good, healthy friendships around me. A successful relationship a successful life is being able to do God's will and to live out His purpose for me on this earth. That to me is success. However, the success that I'm talking about is the success that they say is as a result of education, right? So, they say you go and you study and you do all these things and you become successful, right? Meaning that you earn a lot of money and you do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that part, in terms of being successful in regards to money and all that stuff, for some reason, since I was very young, I have never doubted that. I've never doubted. But the thing is that like, people throughout have always perceived that our family came, like every single time people would meet either me or my sisters, they would always assume that we came from a wealthy family. And I don't know where, we were that how that used to have like, those days, my apples, Ceres juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like my folks really like jitolea. You know what I'm saying? Like they went broke trying to give us a good life. You know what I'm saying? So, but of course I was a part of that struggle for quite some time. So, Wamai, honestly, I have no idea. I've actually thought about this very many times. Why do I believe so strongly? It's not even belief. It's almost like when it's beyond that belief. Like it's like me. I just know, right? It's just it's like it's more of a when than it is if.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, in as much as I didn't finish school, that was discouraging. But I still did not doubt,
right,
that this somehow would
work out.
Like I would still get to that place that I needed to go to. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
I just didn't know how. So.
So you came back, right? What did you do? Like in terms of career, because you've gone to school, you come back, you're full-blown adult, you've been paying your bills. What did you get into?
Let me tell you, man. coming back was tough.
Yeah.
Tough. I actually didn't even get a job up until I came back in 2008. I didn't get a job until 2010. So for 2 years, I was pretending to work. My projects. I was living off some of the tunes I'd saved, which was nothing.
Yeah.
And so for 2 years, I literally was just like that deadbeat dude. You get what I'm saying? Like the guy for Nini Matendas. You cannot get with Nini and deal. Yeah. So I used to tell people that I used to, but I am working on renewable energy, which is nonsense. I wasn't working on anything around that. I decided to go and start doing some work with my dad. That didn't work out either, because at that point in time, I think he was struggling as well. And it was a terrible. No, it wasn't terrible, but it was a humbling 2 years.
Yeah. So why did you feel the need to keep up with or to have to fake? Did you come back and find that?
Yeah, man.
Were you looking at
guys were ahead? Yeah, exactly, bro. People were doing stuff, man. Even the people that I was hanging out with, I remember one of my friends that I used to hang out with a lot. I used to just look at him. He has a nice job. He's doing all these things, whatever. And there I was, just this guy who. And I think all my friends knew that I wasn't really doing much, but they just wouldn't let me, feel uncomfortable about it. And I think it's just that whole male ego thing, where it's just you want to be, you want to, when you're looking at your peers and you just feel like you need to show some progress, but really, there was no progress that was happening. That's the time when I joined, during those 2 years I joined Suspect Church.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Almost got married.
Yes.
It got tough. Hey, that's the thing. I remember at that point in time, even the time when I was seeing this babe. This babe, let me tell you, my guy. There's very few things I've not endured. Let me not say that.
Yeah.
There's many things I've not endured. However, I remember at that time, I had a babe and had no income. So she used to work. So she used to, in a sense, support me. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, she was my sponsor, fam. she was literally my sponsor, fam.
Yeah.
We used to go to have, even when we used to go for dinner with friends, she used to have a wallet, right? So not like a babe wallet, like a man wallet.
Yeah.
And she'd put the money in there and give it to me so that I could pay the bill. Yeah. Amazing woman.
Yeah.
But I remember going through that experience, and I remember saying to myself that I will never. Let me tell you, I've experienced this. That it's been taken care of, and I'm okay with it. It's okay. I'm sure there's many situations that happen that cause a man to have to depend on a woman. It happens. Things happen. Whatever, dynamics shift, and it's fine. That's okay. In fact, she was really amazing about it, and I think it goes to say a lot about her and the fact that life times life happens and things whatever. But I remember as when I was out of that relationship and kind of going through that, and I realized that yes, that was a great lesson, but for me, I never wanted to be in a situation. and you can help it, but as far as it's possible.
Humanly possible.
As far as it's humanly possible, please God. I do not want to go through that experience again as a man. Even in as much as I understood and she understood and she was amazing about it, there was no point at which she made me feel demeaned by that experience. You get what I'm saying? But for me, I can't.
That's French for I cannot.
I cannot do it. I cannot do it. Please. Let me tell you, me, I'm the guy, I want to take care of my babe. When you go, do whatever. There's something that makes I feel good about it. I feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? That's no.
Not again.
I don't want to do it again.
So what was that's good. At least you I salute that. that lady, man, good person.
Very good person, you. You know who you are? You're a good woman.
I mean, he goes, she lives like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah, I know, right? She was a good woman. She was a fantastic woman. For a woman to do something like that, do you know how many women are like that nowadays? Actually, they can just say, and it's not that I was being a lazy nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was struggling, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many babes do you think would stand by their guy during those times?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, my wife would. Or does.
You know what?
Yeah.
Your wife is an amazing woman.
Yeah,
I don't know you're gonna edit this thing. So many gems in here, man. Come on, man. Yeah. The dopest show, man. Listen, you guys need to, when you comment on this thing, tell Wamai that he needs to not stop. Right? He needs to keep going. Right? He can't stop. He just can't stop, man.
Thimba and Pesa, your number.
Yes.
So I was gonna ask. Let me take a technical turn. So, what was the turning point? And now you run a company, among other things, called Mookh.
Yeah,
so what was the turning point? Like, when did it switch from being that guy of deals to?
I'll tell you when it switched. And here's the thing that's amazing is to realize that, you know, there's nothing that just happens randomly, right? In terms of, you know, I just woke up one day and I found 1 million shillings in my account. No. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, if God is going to deliver a solution for you, oftentimes it comes through someone. God consistently uses people to deliver his deliverance. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. And so, what's interesting is this. Man, that is actually, sorry, I'm having, anyway. In December, in 2010, Pastor Goyi Odera had called me to tell me about a job opportunity that he had, right? So I go meet with him at that place, Navigators. So I sit down with Goyi, whatever. As I'm sitting down with Goyi, he introduces me to a guy called Gerald Owino.
Oh, G.
Owino. G. Owino. Gerald is probably one of the people, like if I was to write a book, he'd be a significant chapter in that book. Because, to be quite honest, in regards to business, in regards to being an entrepreneur, in regards to starting my own thing and even having the confidence to do that, Gerald Owino is the guy who has been my mentor in that regard. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
He literally is the man that called out those gifts in me. So I remember that day when I tweeted Goyi, whenever we sat down and we talked, and I ended up meeting up with Gerald. And Gerald was like, oh, okay. We had a conversation for just a few minutes. And he said, you know what? I want to meet you. So we met a second time. And he asked me, you know, what are you doing? And I told him, whatever. And he was like, I want you to come work for me. And I remember at the time, he himself was also struggling in the business, you know, that he was doing. But he was like, you know what? I see something in you. Let's start working together. And so we did. And through that whole experience of working for him, you know, the sleepless nights that, and you know, that's the thing that I always tell guys. I'm like, and unless you're willing to put yourself out for something that belongs to someone else, you do not deserve to have anything on your own. And so we spent a lot of time, you know, I mean, that's where I invested myself in that business. And, you know, we went through all kinds of things and we worked and we developed a really great friendship and relationship through that. And so in 2012, I decided to, after 2 years being with him, you know, decided to take my first venture into business.
A real one now.
It wasn't failed. It wasn't failed. Just it was an expensive lesson.
Got you.
Yeah, so went back to him. But it's interesting because when I went back obviously at an elevated level.
Yeah.
Because I'd given.
So what was the business?
The business was selling heat patches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you remember that? Yeah. So there was I was selling these heat patches that were for women. So I was literally that guy in Tao with a briefcase and letters.
Yeah.
Going to chemists.
Yeah.
Telling them about this product and how they should stock it.
Yeah.
My guy, I can't even right now as I think about it, I cannot believe I did that. Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, it's so crazy. Like I was literally that guy in Tao, man. Like just there with my letter, here's the product, please can you stock? And you know the thing is, I actually managed to be 25 chemists in 2 supermarkets, yeah.
So why did you start? Like why that particular business? Was it just the Kenyan I've spotted gap?
Yes, I spotted a gap. It was a product that my sisters had asked me for when I was in the States. So it was something that was always in my head. I'm an ideas guy. I always have that's fun. My dad is a man with many ideas. So I realized that my ability to just generate ideas is actually genetic.
Nice.
My brain. That's how my brain works. I just see opportunities and I'm like, yes. So it's interesting. What's interesting though is the reason why that business was not a failure is because it was that business that led me to be able to formulate the building blocks of the idea for Mookh. Because I remember at the time I went to Poji, who's my current partner, and I told him I'm trying to sell this product on Facebook. And I was telling him all the things that I was noticing. I'm like, yo, guys, only request for this thing on Facebook. And I start telling him, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we need to figure out a way to be able to just sell on Facebook. And so then from that conversation is then now when we began to just, and then in fact we should call it, you know what I'm saying? And so if it wasn't for the problem, if I didn't go to Poji with that problem of, my guy, I need to find a way to sell this thing better on Facebook. If it wasn't for the heat patch, Mookh could never have come. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it's just like, that's why I don't consider that a failure. I consider it almost like it was like the first step to figuring out the thing that was important. And why that was important as well is because it allowed us to even figure out how to position the business, right? So when you look at Mookh is positioned very much skewed towards a seller, not necessarily a buyer, right? It's a seller's platform. Why? Because it's trying to solve a seller's problems, which was the problem that we had.
Got you. So let me before even we get to Mookh, so you've started this business, so it's failed. And failing, what does define failing? Is it that it didn't make money?
Yes.
Is it simple?
Simple. I mean, and from a very kind of, the numbers don't lie. It just wasn't. There was a lot of assumptions that I had made that were huge. But I mean, these were huge lessons for me when we were starting Mookh. First thing being that I had made assumptions around pricing. I had made assumptions around competition, meaning that what was the real competition, right? And so realized that the real competition for a heat patch was a pill that was cost 20 shillings, called a painkiller.
Got you.
Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. But another thing is that I also realized that there's certain things that supersede price, and that one thing is how you design your product. And so I remember that, a few months after I began, actually maybe a year after, selling that heat patch, I met with this lady who's a designer, and she designed for me some packaging that was so dope.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, if this is how this product had started, it will be completely different.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so the realization for me is that in as much as something is necessary, people don't make fundamentally do not make or pick products based on functionality. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the initial reach for someone, when someone is reaching for a product, is because there's something about that product that causes them to say, I want to have a look at what this is.
And it's not necessarily price. You're not fast. You're not
exactly.
thinking.
It's not about price. So all those other things come under that in terms of, it's too expensive, it's too this, it's too whatever, it's too, and all those other things come now. Like, but also I can also just get a name back. You know what I'm saying? The first thing was how your product is perceived. And so for me, when I saw what she did, it made me realize that from the very beginning with Mookh, that the only thing that mattered at that point was how we looked. You know what I'm saying? Like the functions were dope in terms of it needs to function like this, because a lot of the functions that were, to me, were just common sense functions. Like, obviously, this is how a ticketing platform should work, and this is how Mini should work. You know what I'm saying? But design for me is it's kind of like the, for me that's the I'm convinced that's the thing that most businesses miss.
Got you. Let me rewind even further back. So so the business has crashed. The numbers are not making sense. So you go back to G.
Yes. Went back to G.
Yeah.
So at that point, since we had the idea for Mookh, I tried to. From 2013, I tried to make the idea happen.
Okay. So explain what Mookh is, so that real quick, so that we
yes, what it is.
Yeah.
So what Mookh is that it's an e-commerce platform that allows sellers to be able to sell products, tickets, digital content, or do a crowdfunding campaign. And through that e-commerce platform, they're able to embed their stores onto social media or onto our website. So meaning you can come to our website, www.mymookh.com, decide which feature that you want, and then once you create a store, you're able to then take that store and plug it into your social media or plug it into your website. It's fantastic. You should
Made in Kenya.
Everything is made in Kenya.
Pow, 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 pow.
Made in Kenya, huh? Made in Kenya, huh?
I love it. So you've come back to G.
Yes.
So, but you and your business partner,
yes,
have already begun building Mookh.
No, we hadn't actually started building that. No, we had tried multiple times to try and build it.
Yeah.
So we had worked with different developers to try and build this thing, and they just, it was just a struggle because none of us were techies. So at some point it was one of those things where we were like, you know what, maybe, we need to figure out how to do this thing, but maybe not now,
Yeah. So it was, how was that? Was it like, I'm trying to get to how the idea started, and you're talking about the patches and a conversation. So is there a certain event that you can remember where you're like, okay, this is a product, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like Mookh.
Yes.
Was there, you've talked about how conversations from maybe if we sold this way, etc. So what was that point where the idea became something that was solid? Like a real idea? Was it many conversations? Was it?
The thing is that like...
Or were you going to sell the heat patch as...
No, I think it's when we started having conversations with other people and they... also at that point I feel like I was very kind of business naive. So it was like, anything can work. Every single time we kind of, to me, it was literally like an idea that haunted us. Everywhere you looked, it was needed. And so, with the heat patch, it was one of those things where it evolved away from, we need this for the heat patch, to when we started having conversations with other friends and they were like, yo, that thing is dope. Then realizing that other people need this thing, right? And so, we ended up, trying as so many more attempts, developers, to try and build this thing out that just didn't work. Every single one of the developers that we spoke to didn't work until I met this one guy who, because of the pressure we were under, because we were told, Modoni, drama queen, that we would have a ticketing platform for her. Hey, we can do this, man. And so I met this guy who said that he could build it. And so we had tried so many times, Wamai, to get this thing to go live. So many. My guy, there was at least maybe 4 or 5 failed starts.
Yeah.
That on the day that the system went live.
Yeah. You'd be crying.
I think I was almost in tears because at that point in time I realized this is it. Like we're out there, man. Like this is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that was the moment when it was like, you get me. We have a business.
So like, I'm trying to get back to, is it before you went back to employment where you're like, okay, this is an idea, we need to get a developer, what was that? Was it a conversation? When did it become, move the idea from idea to action?
The thing is, you see what you're not getting, is that from the first time we had the idea, we went into action.
Oh, really?
Yes. As soon as we had the idea, so meaning, when we had that, I still remember that on the day we had the idea, that she spoke to one of a developer friend of ours that we both knew. We went and met him.
Yeah.
And so for almost a year, 8 months to a year, we were literally building Mookh with this guy.
Oh.
I would go to his house, I think once a week.
Yeah.
Once or twice a week. To just go and look at the progress, some tests, and tell him, oh, there's a bug here, there's a bug there. You know what I'm saying? So we were in action. And then towards the end of the project, so meaning the way that I understood it, we were about 80% done. This was in 2014 maybe. 2013, 2014 there. 2014. And my guy, I have proposals to Safaricom from 2014.
Wow.
Telling them about the system that we were building and how they can partner up with us. Right? This was it was 2013, I think, if I remember well, right? This is in 2013 towards the end. So this guy abandoned the project.
Okay, so that's I've never known that part of the story. So basically, it's like us having a conversation now about an idea to sell strawberry yogurt, and immediately we are actioning.
Oh yep. Immediately.
Like I know a milk supplier.
Yes. And we worked on it for almost 8 months. And then the guy gave up on the project because he was like, there's no chance. I need to start doing other things. And we were like, dude, like the guy, we're almost there, man. We're almost at the finish line. Let's go. It's like, nah. There's sometimes in life you gotta know when to quit.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't that may be true for him, but it wasn't true for me.
Yeah.
After him, went to look for another. I spent maybe 6 months looking for other developers.
Why 6 months? And these developers are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, it's 6 months because it's like, I don't have chums. So I'm going there to inspire guys.
Got you.
That man, you know what I'm saying? The thing would be so dope. You know, the opportunity is great, man. And all those guys are just like, meh.
Great.
So finally we got some chums. So now we were going to go and now we got like some proper guys. Those guys, what they were building was completely outside of the vision that we had.
Oh my.
So got rid of those guys. Then got another guy.
Yeah.
That guy was farting around.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So meaning he was like a fake building.
Yeah. Left.
So he was fake building, yeah.
And you're paying.
Yeah, absolutely. So after 5 months, we realized the guy is farting around.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, we had no money. Nothing.
So when you get the money from And were you still working for?
Yes. So I was still there working. We got the tunes from this guy, who it's very unfortunate that the tunes that he put in went into nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because the guys were just nothing, there was no output.
Yeah.
So at the very end of that, that's when now I met this guy. Amazing guy, his name is Ansel. He's a great developer. So I met the guy and I sat down with him and asked him, yo, you need to do this thing, man. I need to have a system up in 1 month.
Which is technically...
I mean, I don't even know what I was telling that guy. And he was just like, cool, man. And he did it. He actually did it.
So, and when you...
It's a terrible system. He did it.
So wait, first of all, I've got so many questions. One is, how did you convince someone to give you money? And secondly, when the money was done, how did the relationship end?
Oh yeah. That relationship has been, it's an ongoing tense situation. I don't know if it's tense, but it's just one of those things where it's like you in the beginning when you had this conversation with this person, it was towards being able to invest in the business to kind of get us to a place where we have something that we can then go to market with. But unfortunately, like the guy for that first developer, you know, he also kind of disappeared at the point of, you know, I don't know if it was because of the mistakes that we had made in terms of, I don't really say mistakes, but you know, it was based on the choices, whatever.
Yeah.
So the fact that we didn't, you know, by the time we were going live, even prior to before going live, I mean, we're talking about this was in maybe March. Around March is when of 2015 is when, you know, the coffers, the tunes ran dry, whatever. But still, it was like we didn't have a product, right? So he kind of stopped putting in any money. Yeah, so it's almost like he was involved in R&D. Actually, more than the R, there's no development, there's just research. Because at the time when we finally actually launched, the guy who built us that system, Ansel, we literally scraped money.
Yeah, that's true.
Everywhere. Like it was so, yeah, please just ask your dad. Ask your, you know what I'm saying? We'll ask Nani.
Really?
So way we can get some tunes. Yeah, that's how it worked. Like we had no money. We had no money. When we were starting off, we literally started this business in negative. Like we started it, like we were already like in debt. You know? So yeah, but ever since then, man, we haven't received any. Can you imagine it? There's no one who's invested in us.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
And what made, I mean, every startups are, I think the buzzwords are angel investors, what's the other one? Unicorns. Blah, 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 all those.
Yeah.
So, is that a...
You know what? When I look back in, like, Wamai, let me tell you, man. We started in July 2015 was the first time we went live. And even when we went live, all we were doing was M-Pesa. Hakukuwa na Airtel money, there was no cards, nothing, just M-Pesa. Wamai, it's been so difficult. You know, like, I'm actually, the fact that the business is still ongoing and running is the biggest testimony of a living God.
Why do you say that?
Because, my guy, we have had no support. I have no idea how we paid salaries, right? So meaning, like, of all the guys that we have, there's no one who can say we owe them tunes, right? Maybe this month, but previous months, no. And the thing for me is that we haven't had a single shilling of investment coming to the business. We've literally, like, if there's a, grind ourselves through this process, and so it's for me, it's just like, in a lot of ways I've seen other startups who have received funding and all those things. But what's interesting for me is that like they received funding, but their product didn't get better. So meaning that the priorities that they had as regards to what the money was supposed to be there for went to the wrong place, right? What this grinding has done for us is that it's taught us a lot. For me right now, I'm literally at that place where I could fully I don't want to say fully, but to a large extent, I better understand what it is that we need.
Got you.
Right? And on top of that, we know how to stretch a shilling. You get what I'm saying? Like you just know how to, and just through it all, just seeing the salvation of the Lord. Yeah? And it's so funny because the thing that's so interesting is that people constantly come and they're like, yo man, you guys Mookh bana. Hey, you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
Man, I see you guys everywhere.
However,
and it's so funny because it's like when you're in it, you're so in it that like you don't even see, you don't understand that like what people are seeing. You get what I'm saying? I have no idea. Whenever people are like, you see everywhere, and I'm just like, really? I'm always just like, oh, for real?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's amazing, and so it's a constant thing where people are always like, congratulations, maybe. But on the inside, in terms of understanding what it means to be able to just create anything, and not just create anything, but to actually consciously want to create something that's dope.
That's where it's at. So
it's crazy, man.
Couple of questions. One is, what keeps you going? You've started a business before that didn't work and you're like, forget this, back to employment. So what keeps you going? And then secondly, what opportunities are you seeing in terms of, in the tech world, that keeps you going?
What keeps me going?
Yeah, what keeps you guys going? What I'm hearing on this side is that this thing must work. And why must it work?
Just must, because we started it, man. You get what I'm saying? Like, the thing is, I just have this idea around just being able to look back and recognizing that anything that you want to be, anything great that you want to happen you just have to. I'm convinced of this, that success is not found by just having good ideas. The fundamental basis behind success is resilience. So it almost feels like, for me, the visual that I have, there's this amazing visual that I have on my computer of this guy who's climbing up this massive wall. Mountain. It's if you look at this guy, he looks like a low ant, right? In the size, in this huge thing, right? And so the thing that drives me is that, it's not, this is such a good idea. It's the fact that, I almost feel like that guy, right? In the sense that you've come so far, right? So when you look down, it's so far. You get what I'm saying? Like you're halfway through the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like you look down, it's like, it doesn't matter. The idea was really great at the bottom, and you climb, you're like, this is such a good idea. I can't wait to get to the top, right? Midway, I feel like when that kind of business space where it's just like, my goodness, like this is insane. Like this is literally a mountain. What was I thinking? Right? But
It's a bit too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
You're already, I'm saying, like you're already halfway through there.
Yeah.
So the only option is, since you can't go down, is just keep going.
Got you.
Right? So just keep going. And so I feel like if I was to be honest, that's right now, I could come and be like, it's our merchants. We love them and we just love watching them just sell. And right now we're in that, we're in that place where it's just like, or at least me, I am. At that place where it's just like, you've started this thing, you've got to see it to the end. You know what I'm saying? You have to see it all the way through, because you just have to see it all the way through, man. Let's go see what's at the top of the mountain. Right?
And are there times in the business where you've actually enjoyed, whether it's financial reward or affirmation, are there times in the business that have made the struggle worth it?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Many times, actually. There's many times. And I think a lot of the times when I hear people saying, oh, this is really dope. And one of the things that to me is the thing that kind of has been exciting is to see people who have been inspired through what it is that we've done. Because in a sense, we did create a company that from nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, and so to have people and a lot of young people who come and they say, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Like, to inspire a generation of young people to know that you can start something to me is exciting. And to be able to teach them the lessons around resilience is exciting for me. But there's a moment of validation. I think it was in August when we met with Mookh Zook.
Mookh.
That was amazing. That was really dope.
Yeah.
That was one of those. So in May that year, I had sent it wasn't in May. It was actually earlier. It was in March. In March, we had just come from a conference where we were going to pitch to investors, and every single investor told us, your idea is great, but I think Facebook will shut you guys down. And so I remember in March, just randomly, one evening, it was actually late at night, and I began to draft an email that I wanted to send to Mark Zuckerberg. I didn't even know his email, so I googled Mark Zuckerberg email, and I wanted to send this email to him to tell him about who we are, and just to be able to, get some level of collaboration with Facebook. So I was gonna email the CEO. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And so
You actually did it. Like,
I left that email. I didn't email.
Yeah.
It was an email that was in my drafts.
Yeah.
And so 5 months later, I'm in a room sitting across from him, having a conversation about what it is that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was exciting. That was mind-blowing. It was super exciting. But the thing that it was on a Thursday that happened, the thing that blew my mind away was that on Sunday, I woke up and when I looked at my phone, I had an email. And that email was from Mark Zuckerberg.
That's awesome, man.
You get what I'm saying? Like I already have a response. I drafted it 5 months earlier. You get what I'm saying? Like that was such a profound moment for me in realizing that. I mean, five months earlier, I could not even begin to conceptualize how I would meet this person, or even how this whole thing would go down.
Yeah.
I'm drafting an email and I have no, you get what I'm saying? Like, how is that going to happen? And 5 months later, to not only meet him, but I didn't have to send that, he emailed.
That's awesome.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
So I don't even need to look for his email, it says here. You know what I'm saying?
To hit reply.
Reply, just copy paste, I already have the talking points.
Talk about being ready for the opportunity.
Yeah, fam. That thing was. Hey, that's actually a very unique.
Yeah.
Like that's interesting. That's actually very interesting.
So, and have you, apart from that, like that kind of validation, and of course, being at the right place at the right time, has Mookh made business sense? Has it made some money?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing, man. I mean, we haven't had any investment, so meaning that the way that we've sustained this business is through the business.
Yeah.
And the great thing is that, and also, we've had a lot of people who've lent us money, you pay back, these kind of things. So meaning that it's a business.
Yeah.
We haven't, we're still yet to get to that place where we have, we're in the black, completely in the black.
Yeah.
But we have a business. We have over 500 merchants that are selling on the platform. We have run over $500,000 worth of transactions through the system.
Yeah.
So I mean, and on top of that, I think the thing that's most exciting for us, at least for me personally, from a very, the thing that brings me most joy is to see how people respond to the brand. So meaning that people like the brand, which to me is then presents the opportunity for us to be able to do more. Right? So if people already kind of like you, or they already kind of like, these guys are cool, then it means that the opportunity is great. So I mean, right now, we're going to be doing some really bold things over the next this year. This year is going to be a year of making some really bold moves, and going to places and really challenging ourselves, because the way that I've always kind of, and it's not just myself, even Poji has the same mentality, is that we actually genuinely do not think about competition.
And you've actually, that I like, there's something you've said to me before, and you've said that there's so much room for everyone. Yeah, like say something a little bit about that.
God, that's the thing, man. Like I just feel like the barriers here, we can be. I mean, the opportunities for e-commerce are so massive, and so it's the same way. In a world where Amazon exists, they can still be an Etsy. Do you get what I'm saying? There's still an eBay. There's a whole opportunity for all of us to be able to just maximize on our biggest, competition is retail. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're trying to get people to buy things online. And so for us, I feel like we are in a sense our own competition. You get what I'm saying? Like, how do we create a platform that genuinely provides value? Not just that it's better than the next guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they offer 8%, we offer 9%. They offer 9, we offer 10. That's not, we're not in a game of comparison. Because I don't really think we're even, for us, the guys are like, so how are you better than, let's say, for example, Ticket Sasa? And I'm like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Because for us, we've only been in the market for a short period of time, when you consider it. We're just headed to our second year. And within that time, for us, we've been obsessed with being able to create a really great product. And so, until we get to that place where you feel like you've made some good strides in being able to create a great value proposition for customers, right? Then now we can start talking about like competition. Do you get what I'm saying? But until then, we know that we can do so much more. And so until we are able to just execute and do that much more, then our conversation around competitors to me seems premature. Yeah. So went to a war with scissors.
A quotable quote. Going to how that's because the mentality here is, or the mentality I'm familiar with is that protect your idea, and of course there's some wisdom to that. Getting to something that somebody else is not doing, but what you're saying is that there's room, and there's room first of all to make a system or to build systems that add value, and then of course there's room in terms of these people.
Yeah.
What do they say? 80%. We had 80% cell phone.
Yeah. And that's that, man. That's exactly that. You've articulated very well, because there just isn't any kind of, when you think about, okay, consider this, the fact that there's a child who was born in the year 2000 who's going to be 18 years old next year.
Yeah.
All these guys, not like us, they are pure digital natives. I mean, when people purport to understand what a millennial is, there's the upper millennial, which is like us guys. Us guys were the edge. when they started defining it, the first guys, right?
In fact, some definitions lock us.
Actually, yeah.
And the others.
We're just there, right?
Yeah.
If you consider and if you're evaluating, because I spend a lot of time like with young people. I absolutely love it because there's no greater way to learn. And so the thing that for me that's interesting is that the way that I look at Mookh is more of a solution to that customer. That's why for us competition that's an interesting discussion because it assumes that we're chasing after the same consumer. Right? And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that because this whole thing of like what's your unique you your USP, right? Which is I understand that from basic business principles I get it.
It's valid.
Right? It's valid. Yeah. That's how you protect ideas, whatever and all that stuff. But for me, my understanding and especially of how I consume, and not only that, but when I observe how young people consume, right? It's not about unique selling USPs.
Yeah.
That's not how they're choosing things. Yeah. When you look at that customer, they choose things that they identify with. Mm-hmm. Correct? Which is a thing, unfortunately, in the business world that exists now, we don't measure. We don't measure how people value a brand. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are all those things that you brand, scholars, I'm talking about in terms of when I look at this thing, when a young person, like that's really our target, when this person looks at this thing, if you ask them why do you use this thing over the other thing, most times they will not be able to articulate. They'll tell you stuff like, oh, it's just nini, it's just better. Like I like how I like how it looks. I like how, and so in a lot of ways when I think about like now there's a question yes about the future. I feel like the vision for the future is in being able to create things that are dope. That's what these guys love, man. They like things that are dope. Do you get what I'm saying? Like dope in the sense that like, yo, this thing is cool, it works, it's functional, it's compassionate. You know what I'm saying? It communicates with, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how they relate to brands now. Yeah. It's not this thing of we have this one is 8%, this one is 6%, this one is you know what I'm saying? Like so because we exist in a place where we are constantly being compared to other more established businesses, always being compared to those guys, and I get it. But the thing is that those businesses are established and they have a certain customer base that they speak to, and we're being asked how we're gonna compete against them. But the thing is that our customer base. So, for example, I went for a thing at Capsule Club. And I was speaking at that thing, and there was a lady who came there with her niece. And so she says, I actually didn't know about this company of yours. I found out about it from my niece. So what's really interesting is that this is a consistent thing. I go to places all the time where people have no idea who we are. But if there's someone there who's under the age of 25, actually 23, 22, and you ask them about Mookh, they'll tell you what Mookh is. Do you get what I'm saying? So meaning, it's difficult for us to be able to talk about competition when we're targeting a completely different customer.
Gotcha.
Right? And so as guys, in a sense, from my perspective, I feel like what we're doing is that we're patiently building for the future. Like we're patiently building, and we recognize that there's a certain type of customer that's coming on board that a lot of people won't understand because their entire experience in terms of how they interact with things is digital, right? So we're not talking about a guy this guy is everywhere in the country. It's not just a guy who's in Nairobi.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers say it because correct me if I'm wrong, it's 80% cell phone penetration, and like last I checked, is it 47% internet?
Yes. Actually, it's higher than that. It's now at, internet is at about 70%.
Huh?
Yeah, go look it up. It's the highest in the continent. It's the highest in the continent.
It's crazy.
Absolutely, and it's not just here; it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And the thing is, how many of those guys are young people?
We are 70% youth.
Exactly.
Defined.
So how many? Yeah, exactly. So those guys, their entire experience.
Yeah.
So when this guy turns 25 years old, he's 18-year-old in 7 years when he's 25 years old, and all he does is everything he does is digital, and on top of that, the guy is making some money now. So for us, it's like, in as much as we exist here, I completely see, that kind of dominance around being able to captivate the minds of these young people. They're the guys who keep us like, all the guys who work here are young, man. Because it's just like, make a platform that your homies can use.
Exactly. And now I've got so many questions, but this will become a 3-hour interview. Maybe one is you're a young guy, you want to start a business, specifically in this tech e-commerce world, right? What's your advice, word, apart from don't start the business? What would you say, like, what would you tell that person? Like, you're young, we've talked about the numbers in terms of internet, cell phones, etc., etc.
I think one of the first thing that you need to understand is that this thing takes an insurmountable amount of resilience. What you imagine is resilience. Now multiply that by 1,000. There is absolutely nothing within this ecosystem that is helpful. There's so few people that understand what it is that we're doing. There's so many times where I have to literally try to explain what is this, you know what I'm saying, like, this is the opportunity, and the guys are like, they think it's a cool idea, but they don't recognize that it's something that, so meaning that you're constantly having to fight against the tide, but and so at this stage, if you're that person who wants to do, there's nothing there's absolutely, it just takes, good ideas are great, but the real juice is in the execution, and what you need, the key ingredient for good execution is resilience. You know what I'm saying? Because you fail, but you have to keep coming back up, There's some things you'll try and you're like, oh man, that didn't work. You have to keep going, And so you have to be, in a sense, be in a mode where you're willing to just consistently learn. You have to be teachable. I think that's probably one of the greatest qualities of any person, is that you have to be teachable. What entrepreneurship will teach you is not just about business, but teach you about your life. It'll teach you about how to treat people. It'll teach you how to deal with betrayal, how to deal with people who are not, delivering, and how to push people. One of the things that has been a thing that I, especially as a startup, I tell the guys here, any person who comes to work for us, I'm like, you know what, if you're looking for perks, you're not going to find them in a startup, and you're not even going to find them here.
Yeah.
If you're coming here because you think you're going to have a comfortable, fun working environment, then I don't think you deserve to be here. And I tell people that, we look at ourselves like a sports team. We're trying to win a championship, and everyone has to do their job for us to be able to achieve that. And so this is about having a common goal, right? And so for them, it's to decide whether we are a winning team or not. Because everyone wants to come and play for a winning team, even if they're not on a chance. But you'd rather go to Arsenal than go to West Brom. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like that.
No clue.
Or you want to go play for the Golden State Warriors instead of the Indiana Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
If you-
no, it
is that-
doesn't
is that-
matter, I
this team has a better shot at winning a championship. And so for me, with the whole team, it's always like, guys, we don't fight each other, we fight together. We have to work as a team. When one person drops the ball, we all lose the game. You know what I'm saying? So for us, for me, it's more of an analogy around, you know, we just you have to figure out how to be able to, you know, work together to achieve this objective, because you can't do it on your own. That's the one thing that's very clear. There's no resilience that's found in solitude.
That's food for thought. And yeah, because I mean, there's the usual African saying: if you want to go fast, go solo, and if you want to go far, then go with others.
Yep.
Then the other one is, so I'm a guy and I'm thinking about study, guy or girl, and I've had this technology, e-commerce idea, and I've had it for X amount of time. What's my action for tomorrow or right now?
So first, obviously, if you're a techie, I'm assuming that you're a developer.
Yeah, it could be a developer or a business person.
Exactly. So if you're a developer, start developing it.
Yeah.
Right? And realize that it's not gonna. You just have to. Like, there's no person that's interested in ideas. People are interested in products.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing that's exciting. Is for people to be able to. I know for myself, like, if I was to invest in a business, forget about it. I'm not investing in ideas. I want to invest in a business, right? So there's some stuff that you have to do that's just not gonna whatever. So where you're gonna start is, if you're a developer, start working on that thing. If you're not a developer,
Develop.
you need to go find a person who's a developer and go and talk to them. My general feeling is always this: is that instead of trying to inspire them with the idea, you need to go and figure out how you're gonna scrape up some money to go and pay this person, even no matter how small it is, even if it's 30K. Then you figure out how you're gonna get that thing from your mom, your dad, your uncles. That's where you start. Someone in there is gonna be willing to invest in your idea. Someone in there will think that your idea is great. If they don't think your idea is great, go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? Like, family are those guys for like, they're like, this thing, I can see. Yeah, you have to go and figure out and find as many people as possible. Either that or partner up with someone who's a developer. Generally, that doesn't work for me. It didn't work for us. So it was just easier to go and struggle to find money
And
then pay some guy who we have inspired, so meaning he's gonna take very little. But he doesn't, it's not free work.
Got you. He can at least
bus. Exactly. So it's like a 20 G's. Just be like, my guy, here is 5 G's. When you figure this milestone, I'll give you another 5 G's. Figure here, Nini, another 5 G's. Where are we on this, Nini, whatever, what's going on? So at least you can be a girl of pressure. Because you know you're giving this guy some tunes, right?
You're paying for his time.
You're paying for his time. Yeah. And then, you know, at the same time is that also, part of this whole thing of resilience is that you have to keep trying. You've got to keep trying, man. You can't stop. Like, you have to keep trying. You have to. There's no other path. Literally, there's no other path, man. There's no other path to doing something that's dope. It means that probably the first time you're gonna try and do it, it's gonna suck. Right? Which is fine. Which is fine. And the second time you do it, maybe it may not, whatever, but it'll be better. The one thing that you have to not be okay with is not trying. So, and by that I mean that you have to try at least 100 times. Before you give up.
Oh man.
70 times, 7 times.
Yeah, that's a different context.
Yes.
But I get it. So now, and then one last question is why you're African, in an African context, why is it exciting to be doing this in Africa? Like, why not just raise money, an air ticket, go to the States where most techies, or a good chunk of techies, want to be at, and start your business? Why here?
Why here, man? That's a great question. I'll tell you why here, man. Because Africa is just where it's at, bro. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, it's kind of like when I was talking about kind of what it means to have a well-designed brand and how you make people feel. You know, it's one of those intangible things, but it's very intentional. For me right now, I just feel the energy of this continent. It's not just an intellectual thing. It's not because I've looked at the numbers, even in as much as it's not that. It's almost like the energy that you feel makes you biased in the numbers that you look for, right? So you're really going to validate your premise, then you are going to discredit it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And right now, there's just an energy in this continent. There's just a vibe of opportunity and possibility, you know, that is so pungent. Like it's just like it's just the way to describe it. Yeah, it's just in your face, you know what I'm saying? Like pungent. It's heavy, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like this feels like the stories of, you know, the early 90s, the late 90s actually, the internet booming called America. You know what I'm saying? Like it just has this vibe of just like, I don't know. So for me, it's, you know, it's interesting because every single time when we have conversations with people and you know, anytime I have a conversation with someone, it's just like, you know, this thing would be so great. You can even take it to America, man. The world. And for me, I'm just like, the world would be cool. Yeah. But you know what would be really, really cool? Africa, man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's so interesting that, like, for me, the vision of success is a truly Pan-African brand that is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't care about being big in Europe. Like, being an African brand that other African nations like look at it and they're like, yo, that's us. You know what I'm saying? Like, like to me, that idea is more exciting than being a global brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, so guys in America, like, there's absolutely no excitement about being in the world. The excitement is just this continent. You've had very many ideas. If you're in the tech world, there's so much stuff that you can get from that. If you're not in the tech world and you're wanting to start a business, there's stuff that you can pick up from this. If you're a guy who's thinking about going to school, who maybe things haven't worked out, whether it's in school or you've had to drop out, there's stuff to pick out from that. And if you just want to listen to something that's inspiring, there's a lot of stuff to pick up. So what I tell guys is very simple. Pick up an idea and then run with it. Just one idea and then just run with it, man. Just one could be, I don't know. Wamai, actually, you know what? I think everyone who's had that is like a major key. This guy with many ideas. Is that there's an idea for whatever. And you know, actually there's a saying, they say you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Let me tell you something. If you really want to make something happen, you just have to kind of put everything in one basket. You're just like, you guys, like, this thing has to, you're put in a position for make it or make it. There's no other recipe for causing you to act. There's no other thing that forces resilience out of you than being like that guy in the mountain. My guy can't go down. I put everything. You know what I'm saying? Like this thing. It's gonna work, man. That's how ideas work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
stubbornness.
Yeah.
You just have to be absolutely stubborn.
Yeah.
And sorry, this
Yeah.
interview is, you know,
Free, huh?
one of the things that I realized yesterday. This is one of those, and I had preached on this on Sunday, but it was more deepened. You know, that's the reason why people ask, what's your advice for? You know, but even it doesn't matter your background. It literally does. I don't care. Not even I don't care. No one cares. No one cares whether you grew up without a father.
Yeah.
No one cares whether it's like you grew up in a poor household or my daddy was. No one cares.
Yeah.
Life does not care.
Yeah.
And nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Do you know every single person? Yesterday I was looking through this this thing of a profile of this guy. He's a billionaire. And so,
Profile again.
so this guy is called, his name is Femi something.
Yeah.
And he has a daughter who's a DJ, Femi Otedola or something like that. He's one of the richest men in Nigeria. And it's so interesting. I'm looking at this guy's life and I'm like, wow, man, look at this guy's life. Everything is so dope. Like, he just gets to travel. And then as you're looking in there, I click on one of the, looking through his kids and realize that one of his children, his son, has autism. Which is something that, as a family, they have to deal with constantly and throughout, yeah? And I remember just thinking to myself, I was like, Yani, life, no one cares.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You could be the richest guy,
Yeah.
and still you have to have resilience through certain things. So forget the excuses. No one cares. No one cares. But I don't have any money. No one cares. No one cares about that. No one feels pity for you. Like, you're either doing this thing or you're not doing it.
So just
right? Yeah. So you figure it out. I'm telling you, figure out there's a mountain. Figure out how to climb that thing, man.
Yes.
Like, just figure that thing out, man. Because no one cares. No one is there to, we're here to make no one. There's no one who's here to make it easier for you at all. So it's just like,
Do it.
just do it, man.
Just do it. One idea and just do it.
Man.
So it's been subscribe, don't like, whatever. Just comments down there below. Keep it civil. Yeah.